Hey there, Walking Dead fans, this is Wesatron. Today we're going to be taking a look at McFarlane's AMC's The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon with Chopper Deluxe boxed set. It is considered a Series 5, but it is outside of the normal series, so even though you may find the Series 5 action figures somewhere, you may not necessarily find Daryl with them because it is a boxed set. The reason I'm showing off the packaging is because it is a window box as opposed to any kind of blister packaging that they had done before. So you get to see over here we've got Daryl's face, which is I guess probably Series 2 maybe, or Season 2 rather, because he's got his short hair and everything. It's got the Walking Dead logo on the side. We've just got a quick shot of him on the bike on the back. It's got a cross-out for the 10-inch Daryl, and then the other figures in Series 5, including Glenn, Maggie, Tyrese, Merle Zombie, and Charred Zombie. Spoilers. And down here at the bottom, it really is more about the action figure than it is the character of Daryl, but still pretty cool. It's got a shot of the action figure again there on the back. So, technically this is Merle's chopper, which it says on the back, of course, but Daryl's the one who's been riding it for the past, like, 4 seasons or whatever, so he's the one who gets the box set. So let's get this guy out of packaging and see what he's like. And here's Daryl and the chopper out of packaging, and aesthetically we've got a lot of great things going on here. A lot of people have complained about the likeness. We'll get to that on the close-up, but it's not as bad as all that. Now, he is able to hold his crossbow pretty convincingly. They did a lot of good stuff with the articulation in the arms. But it is a bit fiddly just to try and get it in his hands, and that's just because of the design of the crossbow, because it's got this connected piece back here, so you have to kind of work his thumb in and his finger at the same time. It's a little tricky, but we'll get a close-up on that in a second too. Articulation-wise, we've got a very nice ball-jointed head. All that great movement that they've worked in the last little bit, did a great job with that. Swivel hinges in the shoulders go out about that far on either side. Swivel hinge elbows get a little bit better than 90 degrees and of course rotate. And then in the wrist we have swivel hinge swivel, so we get the rotation all the way around. We get in and out, which can also be up and down depending on how you've adjusted the direction of the wrist joint, and then another swivel at the end, so pretty cool. One thing that's new, at least as far as I know, in the McFarlane Walking Dead series is a ball-jointed midsection. So he's actually got the ability to rock forward and back. I know it doesn't look like it because he's a small figure, but there we go. And then I believe it's another ball joint. Yeah, right here there's a second ball joint. So it's very similar to what NECA's doing right now and what SH Figuarts is pretty famous for. So lots of great motion there. I mean, you can get some pretty good leans left and right, back, forward. Nice motion there. This is all soft rubber here, and then more soft rubber for the shirt. So very, very nice job there. New style hips for this line as well. They're the DCUC or Masters of the Universe Classics hips, and they go forward very far, back extremely far, very good, and then out to the side for nice splits. Very cool. I didn't move this one out very much because he has a knife in that sheath, but it's got the same range of motion. So very, very cool. There were some previous issues where they were kind of cutting the ball joint a little high, so he didn't have the same range of motion. This has none of that problem. Very good. Swivel hinge knees get you about 90 degrees, and then rotation. And then the feet are the only part of the articulation that I'm disappointed in. They used a swivel hinge swivel similar to the wrist, but because the pants are cut so low, it's very difficult to use the joint. It would have been better if they had just used standard ball joints, ball and socket. Maybe a double ball and socket would have been much more useful, because you can see his feet kind of point out like that, which makes them a little difficult to stand. But you can't do a whole lot with them because it's so tight down there, it's difficult to use the joint at all. So like you get a little bit of wiggle here, and you get some back and forth like rotation, but that's about it. The joint would allow for a lot more range, it's just that the pant leg doesn't. So I think they should have gone with a simpler joint where you could actually see what the joint was doing. But other than that, articulation is very solid on this figure, and if you have him posed with the bike, it really won't make much of a difference. Action poses will be a little bit more complicated. So now the bike only has a couple points of articulation. The saddlebags are removable. In the picture, it actually has them sitting like this. but they seem to hang on a little bit better if you flip them around this way. It could just be mine, I don't know, but either way, they are removable, which creates another seat on the back, which is cool if you want to have him cart anybody around. And then we've got rotation up here for the steering wheel to go left and right. Now, this is insane, but this actually has like real brake lines that go through this whole thing and down in here, and they're made of tubing. So you get a little bit of resistance when you push it either way, which, I mean, that's totally reasonable considering how awesome that detail is. Then we've got rotation at the front wheel, and we have rotation at the back wheel, like that, but there's also a peg hole on the bottom of this wheel, and a peg with a flat piece. Stick it up in there, and it will keep that bike standing, even without the use of the kickstand. So if you wanted to have him actually riding the bike, you could put his hands up here and have him facing forward, and as long as you balance it okay, he could totally ride that bike, which is very cool. I really dig that. I'm not 100% sure. This may be G.I. Joe compatible, so if you needed a wider footprint, you might be able to actually use that on classic G.I. Joe stands, not the modern ones with the wider peg holes. But very cool. So that's all the articulation as far as this goes. Oh, aside from the kickstand, which is right here on the side. And that can move up and down. So, very cool. Let's go ahead and zoom in a little bit so we can get a better look at all this stuff. So here's Daryl a little bit closer up. And you can see that the lightness really is not perfect. From certain angles, it looks a little closer, but you know, it's really not bad. I mean, considering this is a 5-inch scale figure, I mean, this is smaller than your average Marvel Legend or anything like that. I don't expect the likeness to be perfect. Even if they do use, like, you know, the, what do they call it, the face scan thing. It still isn't bad. The hair sculpt is very nice. They did a nice paint wash on it. Great job on the leather jacket and everything. He's got the wings on the back. He's got a little rag hanging out of the side. Excellent work on the jeans, or I guess maybe pants of some type. I'm not really sure. You know, skin knee here. We've got brass on the buttons. Everything just looks really nicely done. The boots, very well sculpted, as you can see. The bottoms do not have peg holes, but do have a little bit of sculpting on them. So overall, pretty decent. He does have a sheath over here with a knife, which is removable, and is very simple in design. Very cool. And it is small enough that it does not fit in his right hand very well. You can see it just kind of hangs there. But his left hand, because of this little swell in the grip here, can actually hold on to it very nicely. So you put it in that hand, it's not going anywhere, which is very cool. Now his crossbow, which I already showed you can be held in his hands, right now is residing on the front of his motorcycle. It does clip into this little rack here. You can just pull that right off. It looks very nice. It's got a little bit of a camo paint job on the back, extra bolts on the front. The whole system you can see here all looks perfect. They did a great job. It's got a strap on it, so if you want to hang it on his back, you can. It just looks really nice. The really crazy thing about this is that these bolts you'll have to be extremely careful with because they are actually removable. They are actually, you just pop them out and then give a little tug, and there you go. The bolt comes right out. So that's pretty crazy. It only comes with 3 of 4 possible bolts that you can put in there. I suppose if you wanted a full one, you'd have to buy another Daryl, but they are very small, so just be careful with that if you do pick up this set. The bike itself, very nicely done. You can see the grease stains, the grime, everything. I know a lot of people are disappointed about the SS not being on the gas tank here, but like, did you really think it was going to make it onto a toy? It's pretty unlikely. They do have a skull and crossbones here, which is sort of acting in its place. We've got a nice little, see, it's actually not out of focus, it's just dirty. The license plate 0110D4. So I don't know if that has any meaning. If it does, you know, let me know in the comments below. But very nice. The tires look great. They are maybe either a very soft plastic or a very tough rubber, but they do have some mud painted onto the treads. Everything just looks absolutely outstanding. And as I said, they have a real brake system that goes, like, the brakes don't work, but they actually run from the front down here and even on the front it goes to the actual brake pads, which is insane. Like, that's just a great amount of detail. The front has a clear lens over the lamp, so it actually looks like it could, you know, theoretically be a real lamp. Just wonderful, wonderful stuff. And the saddlebags are equally detailed, nice little bits of stitching, and the buckles are painted silver. And as I said, those can just kind of drape over this. They don't stay in place very well, but I mean, it's primarily going to be a display piece anyway, so. And as I said, I've had better luck putting it on that way. So very, very cool. Yeah, this set is really, really nice. Like I said, the likeness may not be perfect, but overall, there's a lot of stuff to like here. So now we get to the big question of the day, and that is value. This is a very expensive set, considering an average figure like Glenn here runs you about 13 to 15 bucks, depending on where you go. This set on Amazon is $35. On BBTS, I paid $32.99, I believe. For that price, you're basically getting this figure and then paying $20 just for the motorcycle. Now, understand me, the motorcycle looks amazing. They did a great job with it. It's, you know, just unbelievable, and it's unusual for us to get vehicles in this scale specifically for this line. But it's a $20 motorcycle. I mean, you can go out and get a Milestone motorcycle for like 10 bucks in 6-inch scale. So I don't know, the price still feels a bit much to me. I think part of it is because they could never reuse the mold, most likely. Another part is, honestly, I think that they know that they can charge pretty much whatever they want for a Daryl figure. They could have easily released this figure by himself and charged 12 bucks or 15 bucks or whatever, and he would have flown off the shelves. Now they've got the chopper, which I wouldn't necessarily say is synonymous with Daryl, like not more so than his crossbow. And they think that adds an extra 20 bucks of value. It doesn't feel right to me. Granted, if it's Daryl, you're going to buy it because everybody's been waiting for a new Daryl. But, you know, just so you know, the value is not what it should be for the line. But as far as the figure goes, you do get a great figure. You get the extra knife. You get the improved articulation. You get the crossbow with the removable bolts. Very nice. And you do get the motorcycle, which, as I said, is just incredible. But don't think it's worth $20. So that's all. I mean, otherwise, it's a great figure. The only issue I have with the figure himself is the articulation in the ankles. Beyond that, spot on. Even the likeness doesn't bother me. I think he looks fine. So that's pretty much it for this review. If you have any questions or comments about it, please throw in the box below. If you disagree with me about the value of it, if you think this is totally worth it, please let me know. I'd like to talk about that. I'm very open to that idea. So yeah, thanks guys for tuning in. I really, really appreciate it. And I will talk to you later. Thanks. Bye.